me again, Joy, coming to bring you joy the easy way. So today I'm going to make chicken noodle soup because this is the season when people start getting sick and they always want soup. But I want to show you how to do it the easy way.
So what you're going to need is a rotisserie chicken from your local store, and some no yolk noodles. These ones work the best. Onion, garlic, cream of chicken, and some celery and carrots, and some seasoning. So you're going to start deboning your chicken, your rotisserie chicken. You want to take the meat off the bones because you are going to take the bones and the skin and you're going to boil it. So you want to take all the meat off the bones and put it in a bowl. So you really want to make sure you take all the meat off the bones and take the skin off of the meat and just kind of feel around for any bones or any skin. And you want to make sure you're going to use fresh vegetables, not frozen, because fresh vegetables taste better. Also, see all the bones and the skin on my cutting board? All of that is your scraps, and that's what's going to go in your pot, and that's what's going to make your broth. I'm using this huge pot because the noodles will expand once you put them in the water and start boiling them. Also, I'm making this soup for a family of 6. So if you would want to make it for like a smaller family, like a family of 2, or just for yourself, of course you would just use a smaller pot and you would just use less ingredients. But because I am a family of 6, I use a huge pot. So what you're going to do is you're going to put all of the bones and the skin in this water because this is going to make your broth. This is going to be the base of your soup. This is why I said if you didn't have this, you could use the bone broth. If you didn't have like a real chicken, you would use the bone broth as your base. But we're going to make our own base right now. Also, this soup is freezable, so if you do end up making a large amount, you can also freeze this soup. We want to add sea salt to the water while it's boiling, or before it starts boiling, because the sea salt is going to give it some flavor also. And I know it looks like I'm putting a lot of sea salt, but what happens is the soup starts to dilute, so you want to put enough salt in there. And if you have high blood pressure, you don't have to put sea salt in there. You see how the water is already starting to look oily? That's what we want. We want all of those nutrients from the bones and the skin. While the bones and the skin are boiling to make the broth, I went back to the chicken and started shredding it up into more smaller pieces. I mean, I don't make it super small, but I don't use like big chunks. So I just shred it up. After I shredded the chicken, I went to go start cutting my vegetables while the stuff was boiling still. So I used 3 carrots, 4 celery, and 1 medium-sized yellow onion. I also used 3 cloves of garlic. I like to use fresh garlic, not the minced garlic in a jar, because sometimes the minced garlic in a jar takes away the potency of the garlic, and you really need that. After your water has boiled, you want to start taking out the bones and the skin. I was trying to ladle it out and use a spoon and stuff, and I got a pretty good amount out, but it was getting too hard, guys. See, I got all that out with the ladle and a spoon. When I originally should have just did this, I should have just got a strainer, another pot, and poured it in there and everything would have just came out. But what happened was I didn't. So this is me pouring out the rest of the broth because I felt like I didn't get all the bones and the skin out. And look at all of that coming out. Look at that big old chicken bone. We don't want any bones in our soup. We don't want anybody choking on our soup, guys. So that's me getting all the rest out because you don't want any of that in your soup. So see all of that? You can just throw that away. That's a lot. I thought I was doing good with that ladle and the spoon. Then you want to take your broth and you want to pour it back into your pot. That broth looks good. I think we're doing a great job making this soup. So you want to put the broth back in your big pot. And then what we're going to do next is start putting our veggies in. So I turned the pot back on, and then we are putting the vegetables in that we chopped up. So it's the carrots, the celery, the onions, the garlic. You see I didn't chop them up too small or whatever because first of all I don't really like chopping vegetables, and second of all you want it to taste. You want to taste your vegetables. So, and they kind of shrink, like the onions kind of shrink in the water when you boil it. And the reason why you put this in first is because the carrots, the celery, the onions have to get soft because they're like the hardest ingredient in this. Then we want to season our water. So I use granulated garlic, and I'm putting a good amount in there, as you can see. We're seasoning it again. We're using no salt seasoning. This no salt organic seasoning is pretty good. It has like garlic, it has onion, it has peppers, it has tomatoes, it has all these like dry vegetables in it. It's pretty good. It's like Mrs. Dash, kind of. So we're gonna put that in our water. You have to season the water again because, like I said, the flavors start to go away as you boil. And then I'm going to use some good old Lori's seasoning salt. Lori's seasoning salt gives it that little extra flavor. Like I always say, if you have high blood pressure, you don't have to use any salt in your ingredients. And then we're going to let that boil. Now, let that boil for a while. Not too long, maybe like 5 minutes or so, until it starts boiling again. After your vegetables have boiled for a while, this is where you would put your cream of chicken in the broth. So I use 2 cans of cream of chicken soup. You can use cream of mushroom soup, you can use cream of celery, you can use whichever cream of whatever you like. But since we're making chicken noodle soup, I use 2 cans of cream of chicken. And you can use any brand. You don't have to use like a specific brand. You can use any brand. You're gonna let this boil for a while because you see how it just comes out in a big glob. You wanna boil that down, and you'll see that it's going to change the consistency of your broth. Here's where we add our noodles. We just finished adding our cream of chicken, and now we're going to add our no yolk noodles. I know that I like to use the no yolk noodles because for some reason it keeps the flavor of the soup, and it also makes it look like the soup in the can. But I tried different noodles before, and let me tell you something, for some reason those noodles absorbed all my flavor of the soup and it was a hot mess. You also can use rice. I know my mom has made it with rice before. If you have leftover rice in the refrigerator, just throw your rice in there, or you can use some instant rice, whichever you like. Or you can use no rice, no noodles. If you just want the broth and the vegetables and the chicken, you can do that. You can also put different veggies in this soup, like I know my kids like corn and string beans, So sometimes we put corn and string beans in there. You can put broccoli, cauliflower, you can put anything in this soup. Look at that seasoning. That's why we put all that seasoning in there. This looks so good. So you see how the consistency and the color has changed in the broth? That's from the cream of chicken. Once your noodles are almost soft, they're kind of soft, kind of still hard, this is where you would add your chicken. I know that I don't eat chicken, so sometimes I use turkey, especially around the holidays when you have that extra turkey. You could just go ahead and shred up some turkey, put the turkey in there. You could do this soup just like how I just did it from scratch. You could just take the turkey bone and boil it and make your turkey broth and everything. You can do it like that. I know my mom, how she really makes this chicken noodle soup, she actually buys a raw chicken and she boils the raw chicken until it starts coming off the bone, the meat starts coming off the bone, and then she takes it out and then she lets it cool off and she debones it and all this other stuff, everything I just did with the rotisserie chicken, and then she makes it like this. I know I'm a stay-at-home mom and I still don't have time to do it like that, so we just did it this way. It still tastes the same. It tastes great. An even easier way is just to get some bone chicken broth and frozen chicken breast and throw it in there, boil it, and do the same thing. Or you can use veggie broth if you just want to go all veggie style and no meat. And now our soup is done. Look at that soup. Oh, it looks so good. I love soup. I don't eat chicken noodle soup. I don't eat chicken, but for health reasons, but you know. So I'm putting it in a bowl so my mom can taste it because, like I said, I don't eat chicken. I know, it sounds crazy. Ooh, looks so delicious. Let's take it to my mom, guys.
This is my mom. Hello. Okay, so she's gonna taste the soup and we're gonna see if I did it. Okay. All right, here we go. I'm kind of nervous here. Very, very good. And she would tell me if it wasn't. And it doesn't need any salt. So I did it. Thanks for watching. If you feel sick, I hope you feel better. Like and subscribe. If you have any questions, comment below. Also, just so you know, that this soup is really good if you freeze it. You can freeze it. If you make too much, you can freeze it and it'll still be good and fresh when you unthaw it and cook it. I hope you liked it. I hope it made your life easier. Take it easy.